You're now watching Mugen TV.
We all know it's no secret that Capcom within the past 6 years has been undergoing quite a few financial hurdles since the controversy of Street Fighter X Tekken and other business decisions that caused distrust between them and their fan base. But today, Capcom mostly rely on 3 major franchises to help keep them from becoming only a memory to the gaming industry. But there was a time when Capcom had produced quite a number of franchises that became household names and left a mark in the communities who still wait for that day when Capcom embraced them with a revival of these franchises that lie dormant beneath the chambers of Capcom's offices. One particular franchise comes to mind, which is the Rival School series, created by Hideki Itsuno, the man also responsible for other great Capcom titles like Devil May Cry, Dragon's Dogma, Street Fighter Alpha, Darkstalkers, Power Stone, and Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. Now, back around 1995 to 1999, 3D fighting games had left its footprints in the gaming industry with titles such as Tekken, Virtua Fighter, Dead or Alive, and others. Capcom wanted a piece of the action and decided to begin development on their own in-house 3D fighter of their own. That game was called Star Gladiator for the PS1, which was released in 1996. It featured futuristic weapon-wielding characters that battle it out in 3D environments where you KO your opponent or eliminate them by throwing them off the stage. The main protagonist was Hayato, which some of you may be familiar with his appearance in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Capcom eventually teamed up with Arika to create the Street Fighter EX series. This is the first time we've ever seen Street Fighter characters step into the 3D environment. With both of these franchises now released, it was Hideki Itsuno who wanted to step things up a bit and develop a 3D fighter that would also push the limits of the arcade hardware with 60 frames per second and high lighting effects. Now, this idea of Rival Schools, originally called Justice Fist, was created. This 3D fighter was unlike anything I've ever seen in a fighting game before. It successfully blended together movement of traditional fighting games such as Street Fighter, while adding the high speed, intensity, and flashy effects from the Versus series such as Marvel vs. Capcom. It was like a match made in heaven. Players are able to perform air combos, attack cancels, and even alpha counters. It even had a 2-man team system which allowed you to switch between characters in between rounds. The gameplay was quite addicting and provided tons of content on the console release of the game, which included a second disc called Evolution. Now, this disc provided minigames, character creation that act as a dating sim called School Life, which was only found in the Japanese version. Now, the story mode will follow a linear plot depending on the selection of characters. If you select characters from the same school, you will follow their plot, but if you select characters from 2 different schools, then the game will play out as a traditional arcade mode. But the game also had received an animated intro and endings for the PS1 release of the game, and still to this day, I will go back just to watch from time to time. Capcom didn't have a bit of faith in the title due to the fact that it was a non-Street Fighter game. So Hideki Itsuno suggested that adding Sakura from Street Fighter into the game would be an insurance for the game's performance. This not only created interest by the fans, but it also confirmed that Rival Schools is in the same universe as Street Fighter, Final Fight, and Saturday Slam Masters. But it wasn't until the release of Rival Schools, aka Project Justice, which was released on the Sega Dreamcast in 2001, where this fighting game has become one of my favorite fighters of all time. It introduced more characters and additional team members, which made it into a 3 vs. 3. Now, the visuals were turned up a notch, and the frame rate ran smoother at the time it was released. I would invite my cousins over my house, and my parents would order pizza as we played this game for countless hours. Now, the school setting was something that Hideki Itsuno came up with because he believed at one point in our lives we experienced some form of schooling and the interaction between your classmates and teachers. Well, it definitely worked, because I imagine how badass school would have been if students had special fighting abilities and belonged to a particular group or society. But with all that being said, what happened to Rival Schools? There hasn't been a new game in the series since 2001. Even though we haven't seen or heard anything from Rival Schools, we have seen many cameos and even playable appearances from the series in different games. Kyosuke was playable in Capcom vs SNK series, followed by Batsu in the underrated Tatsunoko vs Capcom. The most recent cameo of rival school characters was Hinata and Tiffany, who can be found in the background of the beach stage in Street Fighter V. So why cameos but no entry in the series? Well, some have speculated that low sales is responsible for it, with the underperformance of Project Justice on the Sega Dreamcast, but Capcom haven't released any info on how much the series has sold over the course of its release, so right now it's all speculation. Not only that, we have not seen a PSN release of the game either. So I stumbled upon an article from Kotaku back in 2009 stating that we will never see a PSN release of Rival Schools because they no longer have IP clearances and rights pertaining to voice work and soundtrack. This seems to happen a lot in cases to why we don't see sequels or even remasters to certain franchises, mainly because of losing rights to the material, similar to why Square Enix haven't bothered to release a new Parasite Eve game, or even a reboot for that matter. But hope still remains for Rival Schools because on August 4th, 2016, and in the recent article of September 26, 2018, Hideki Isuno had stated that he wants to make a new Rival Schools game, along with Power Stone and a few others, but urges fans to hashtag Rival Schools 3 to show interest in something like this becoming a reality. I've learned that fans and consumers alike have the power to motivate companies to change their business practices by speaking with their wallet. So, if we want to see this series return, then we should definitely let Capcom hear our voices. It looks like this series may not have been forgotten by Capcom after all, but that pretty much sums up this rest of the video. I want to hear your thoughts and experience with Rival Schools series, and what other games would you like to see Capcom revive in the near future. And that wraps everything up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button to be notified when I upload more videos related to fighting games and more. This is MugenLord signing off. See you game fiends later. Peace out.